Hello, my loves. How are you? Marhaba. My name is Sheba, and welcome to my channel. This is See Like Sheba. Okay, for this week, if this message resonates with you, if I resonate with you, you need to start resting on your laurels. This message doesn't apply to everyone, but yeah, if like you're on the same wavelength as me, like it applies to you. Start resting on your laurels. I know. We've like grown up hearing, don't rest on your laurels. You don't want to rest on your laurels. Okay, first of all, let's look and see what rest on your laurels means. Hold on. Rest on your, oh my God, laurels. To be so satisfied with what one has already achieved that one makes no further effort. Okay? Yeah, to be so satisfied with your achievements and to not make an effort to do anything else. Yeah. And so the laurels, of course, come from like the Greek, like Olympian and things. They would like crown you with like a wreath of laurels. So it's like your achievements and your successes. And yeah, so we've like most of us have been taught since we were kids, like you don't want to rest on your laurels. And you know that there are lots of phrases that we were taught like a bastardized or a not full or a false, message of what the actual thing is. So, there's jack of all trades, but master of none. The full thing is oftentimes better than a master of one. So it means kind of the opposite of what we're taught to think. Like you should be diversified in a lot of different things. That's better than being just good at one thing. Okay. There's another one that is, blood is thicker than water. The full thing is blood of the battle is thicker than water of the womb. It literally means the exact opposite of the original intention is the exact opposite of what we've all been taught to mean it. And like the meanings that we've been taught are like oftentimes very like harmful, and they keep us small and they keep us, under the control of someone else's like authority. Okay. And yeah, it's just like not for our best interests. Okay. So where's my little, okay. So this came to me because, my husband, Billy, he is a prolific creator. He's a generator, and he just puts out articles, songs, cartoons, podcasts, all these things. And they're like super high quality. And sometimes when we're just chilling or, we're like retired right now. So sometimes when we're just chilling, I can see him being anxious and feeling like, oh, I got to go do something. I got to, maybe I'm not working on my music enough, or maybe I haven't written an article in enough time. And I'm like, no, even if you didn't do another song for the rest of your life, you would still be a prolific artist. You've already been so successful, like bask in what you've already created. Rest on your laurels a little bit. Like you've achieved so much and you're already trying to go on to the next thing. My good sis, Sakura, she's applying to different artist award things and grant stuff. And, when she was about to come in and visit, and she was trying to get an application in, and she was creating this new art piece. Actually, this is my friend Sakura's. This is one of the first pieces that she made. And she did like these mirror things. But this was like years ago, 5 years ago or something. So now, of course, she's also a prolific artist. She's a projector like I am, but she just, creates and creates. But so for this thing that she's trying to apply to, it's got a deadline at the end of the month. She was starting a new project, and she was like stressing about whether or not this new project she was doing was going to be sufficient or was going to be ready in time. And I'm like, why are you starting a new project? You've got like a million other things that you could give them that are already, that you did years ago that would still be like mind-blowing, visionary for these people. She could probably submit this, give a nice little backstory for it about the, interplay of, reflection and paint. I don't know. Put it into chat GPT. Don't do that. Don't do that. But it's just to illustrate that it's simple, okay? And that because she was afraid to rest on her laurels, rest on the successes and the achievements she's already achieved, she was creating this stress about like, oh, she has to do a new thing. She has to do this novel thing. And no, girl, what's the point of having all these achievements if you're not going to rest on them? Okay? And so if you think of like white men, the reason I think this is don't rest on your laurels is not the right advice and that you need to start resting on your laurels. Take a white man. A white man's great-grandfather could have, done something heroic in a war. And their great-grandchildren are resting on the laurels of their grandfather. Donald Trump, came from a father who had money. The Rockefellers, any of these people, they children of athletes or movie stars. You think it makes sense for them to not rest? Not even on their laurels, on their parents' laurels, on their grandparents' laurels. Maybe it makes sense to not do that, but they certainly don't do that. The rich people, these white men, they are not oh, my child has to start over from scratch. Don't rest on these laurels. These are my laurels. No. Are you kidding? They're rest on these laurels. Yeah, the fact that if your grandfather went to Harvard or one of these schools, for example, that increases your chances of being able to get in. That's you resting on someone else's laurels, not even your own laurels. So if these rich white people understand that their children are allowed to rest on their parents' laurels, their grandparents' laurels, their great-grandparents' laurels, sometimes even I think white people allow other white people to rest on non-family white people's laurels. They have this sense of accomplishment because of things that other white people have allegedly done. Oftentimes, not even other white people. Brown people have done the actual labor. White people have taken the credit. And then their children, their ancestors, their descendants get to take the credit for being such industrious people. Come on, okay? So, it's interesting because there are those types of white people who are very comfortable resting on their laurels. And then there's this other type of, not necessarily white people, but it's a lot of white people and it's an overwhelming amount of men. So men, you need to listen to this. Though this is, my channel is mostly for women, but I know I have a really sexy masculine energy that the dudes can't help but flock to. So, I've been watching these, little things on cave divers and mountain climbers, these accidents that happen, mountain climbing gone wrong. And a lot of them are they're these people who are a guy who's a doctor, he's got a family, a lot of success, right? And they'll talk about how he had all this stuff, he'd achieved all these great things, but still something was missing. And they frame it as ambition, but actually it's this fear of resting on their laurels, this fear of being I've got this family, I've got this great job, I've got this great life, but it's not enough. I now need to go climb Mount Everest. It's what? Or I need to break the deep diving record. Why? Rest on your laurels. What? The world does not need that. In fact, Everest is littered with a rainbow of people who refuse to rest on their laurels. Littered with the dead bodies of people who were it's not enough. What I have is not enough. I have to go spend all this money to go climb a mountain, because that's what we've been taught is like the greatest level of like achievement. But let me tell you, some of these people who climb these mountains, you know what they do after that? They're like, okay, now I have to climb these other mountains, these 7 specific mountains. And then I have to do it without oxygen. It's always something else. They can never just rest on their achievement. I would rest on the achievement of, I have this awesome family. I am a great person. I've beat capitalism. I've unplugged myself from the matrix. And so I think like these people, oftentimes men, are like, they teach you that, they like really live by this idea that you're not supposed to rest on your laurels. Don't do that. You can't, but like, why? It's ridiculous because it's like they sacrifice the laurels that they do have that they could be resting on. They're like, no, I don't want to rest on these laurels, in pursuit of additional laurels. And then they end up dying. And it's like, why didn't you just rest on the laurels, babe? You didn't have to climb a mountain. We didn't need that. The mountains have been climbed. There's nothing of interest there. Did I tell you guys that I climbed a mountain once? Is a volcano, technically, in Guatemala. Volcan Fuego, okay? And I hiked up it. I had to have a donkey carry my stuff because, your girl is a sedentary being. And me and my friend, we did the double whammy, which is you don't just climb up to the top and, you camp overnight on like a stone face. The double whammy, at 3 a.m., you go and hike to the summit so that you can see it like exploding at dawn. Man, I'm someone who can hang. I can chill. I can go with the flow, So my friend really wanted to do it, so I did it. Man, that was so uncomfortable. First of all, woken up at 3 a.m. after a super uncomfortable sleep, and it was like I was frazzled and cold, and I forgot my gloves, and our guide was like parkouring up the mountain, and I was like, sir, like, please chill. Oh my God, please stop. And we finally get to the top of the mountain, and mountains are snow-capped because they're super high. So like it was snowing, I was cold as shit, and I was kind of scared because we were up really high and I didn't want to like slip off to my death. And I was just like, what the hell am I doing here? I could have been sleeping in that really uncomfortable tent. It's so funny. There was actually, like, this was years ago, but there was an Israeli who was like finished his like mandatory service and he was traveling with his mother. So maybe I shouldn't have stayed in that tent. He was in my tent with me and my friend. So maybe I shouldn't have stayed, because that would have been bad. They're obsessed with sexual domination and violence in Israel. It's really, really horrible. Anyway, though, speaking of Israel too, I think they really should have just rested on their laurels. They were, they received, land that was not theirs, authority that, was not, theirs to have. And it's still not enough. They still need to take more. They still have to take more of the Palestinians' land. They still have to take more of the Lebanese people's land. Syria, wherever they need to go. They can't just rest. They can't just rest on their achievements. Their horrific, bloody, terrible achievements. And because of that, they're going to lose it all. They're going to be like the mountain climbers. Couldn't just rest on their laurels. Had to keep going for more. And because of that, they're going to end up rainbow corpses on the proverbial Everest of history. What? That was crazy. But brilliant. I love that. Yeah. So, is it ambition, or are you unable to appreciate the successes you've already achieved? Yeah. And so we have this fear of resting on our laurels that I think prevents us from accurately assessing and harnessing our laurels. Because we're so we don't want to rest on them. We have to keep achieving more. But like right now, for instance, I've, made it to a level of success where I own a home, I have an amazing husband, I'm really beautiful and capable, and I have a lot of money. And like, if I were to listen to matrix programming of like, don't rest on your laurels, I would be like, oh, I gotta go apply for jobs. I gotta go figure out something else. I don't want to rest on my laurels. Wait, what? What have I been working so hard for all these years? If not, to rest on the successes that I've achieved. Even with my YouTube, I'm going to do 111 of these. I've already done, a bunch more. And like, I haven't even started doing shorts yet. Like, I don't have to do another video. I could just cobble together stuff from these shorts, I don't have to keep going. And I'm not continuing to keep going because I'm afraid of resting on my laurels. I actually really enjoy going on, so it's fun for me. And I like giving myself the time to just share my brilliant thoughts with you guys. Yeah. And so, like now I'm in a position to rest on my laurels. So now I'm like looking back on what my laurels are. What have I been successful at? What have I achieved? And like, let me enjoy it for a little bit. I'm victorious. Let me enjoy the spoils. Let me rest on it. Yeah. And so, yeah. So for you guys, you've done enough. You've already achieved enough. Yep. I'm really proud of you. You know it. I tell you that all the time. I'm so proud of you. So yeah, you've done enough. So now your job is to bask in it. Your job is to rest on what you've already done. And then let's see what happens. Let's see what comes of that. Take a stock of what your successes are, what you have achieved, what you're successful of, and then just bask in it for a while. Bask in it until I tell you otherwise, okay? Yeah. So, that's all I got, guys. I had such an amazing day. And later, me and Billy are going to go out to dinner. It's the beginning of the month. Every month, me and Billy have a negotiations meeting. And we talk about what went well in the last month. And like, if there's anything we want to like do in the next month, talk about that. Then we we don't shake on it. I actually do a fake like knife, hand, blood oath, and then we shake on it. And we renew our marriage contract for another month. We're so cute. OMG, I'm so beautiful. Thank you. You're right. Hi, Kate. Josh Barling, I don't feel like I've done enough. Well, you know yourself better than I do, Josh. Maybe you haven't, but I think if you've been drawn to this video and you've made it to the end, I think deep down, you've done more than enough. And that maybe your problem is just you haven't rested on your laurels enough. And maybe if you rest for a little bit and take a look back, and you can be like, wait a minute. Actually, I have done a lot. Especially if you're an American and you're a man. Look back and see. You've gotten yourself this far. And that's more than a lot of people can say. So be easy on yourself. Be gentle with yourself. And start resting on your laurels, babes. Okay? You're not supposed to keep moving all the time. You gotta rest. All cars, all machines have to rest. Otherwise, they prematurely go kaput. Okay? So, you are not a machine. You are a human. And so you definitely need to rest. So go rest on them laurels, babe. Take a stock of them. Really reflect and sit and bask. You'll be glad you did. Isn't that from that commercial for like men's suits? Anyway, I look like someone, you know, I do have that face, and I am, you know, going to be very famous. So who knows? Maybe you're from the future or something. All right. Well, that's all I got. I want to go get high and then get some dang food. Oof. Okay, so bring your forehead up against the screen, okay? I love you. And this is all made up, right? So start resting on your laurels, babe. Maybe something that you're good at doing is making things up. I am. I'm very good at telling a tale. So, yeah. Start resting on them laurels, babes. Yeah. I think that's all I got for now. I'll be back on tomorrow if this resonated with you. Oh my gosh, is there like a wreath or something? Like, give me like a little greenery emoji if you made it all the way to the end. And yeah, let me know like if you're like what laurels you could rest on. Okay? All right. I think you did it, sheeps. Ah, perfect. Okay, yeah. So like, comment, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,111 subscribers by the end of 2025, and I think I'm at like 115. So we only got 895 more? Something like that. And yeah, great. I love it. Okay. I'll talk to you guys later. Salam. Oh, 22 on my timer. Perfect. Yalla bye, my loves.